Hello, today I'm going to be showing you how to create theocratic vassals in Crusader Kings 3. Theocratic nations exist in the game, but it's pretty difficult to create new theocratic leaders, and that's a shame because theocratic vassals are some of the best in the game. So the easiest way to create a theocratic vassal is to take over a land that has a temple, and then use a bit of an exploit to replace the leader that's there before they are able to do anything. Okay, so we've just ended a war to get some lands that has a temple on it, and this is very important, but you're going to want to make sure that you have the game paused at this point, and you're going to enforce your demand taking the land. Now, while the game is still paused, if you look here at the temple, you'll see that there is a vassal here, a bishop, and this bishop is a baron in charge of the temple. Now, if you were to grant the baron some extra titles, like some land, they're actually going to keep their theocratic government. If you have a vassal that already has a theocratic government, then you can just give them land, and boom, you now have a theocratic vassal holding both the temple and the barony. You may notice their stats are a little messed up. Don't worry too much about it. If you unpause the game, then you will see that their stats will populate in. So that's one way to create a theocratic vassal. Another way is possible if you have temporal revocable bishops, or whatever religious council member you have. What if I replace my bishop with someone else? So I'm going to fire my bishop, and you may notice that my bishop still is a baron, but is no longer a bishop. Now they're just a regular baron, and that means that I can grant them lands, creating a theocratic vassal. So this is not something that you can do too often. As you can see here, I can only replace the bishop every 10 years. And again, this only works if your religion supports revocable bishops. Here I just did a quick modification to Catholicism to make clerical appointment temporal revocable. So obviously this won't work for religions like stock Catholicism and that sort of stuff. Next, you might be wondering why you would want to be doing this. Well, one thing is that succession works a lot easier for these vassals. If this bishop were to die, the title for the county would just go to some random new bishop. And that means that you're going to have a much more stable sort of succession for these vassals. The other thing is that they have extremely high taxes. You can see here that the base tax rate for this theocratic vassal is 55%. That's because this is based upon the level of devotion that you have. And at the highest level, you're going to get 55% taxes, which by comparison to my other vassals who are currently paying me 10%, it's massive. Even if you were to modify the vassal contract to get to extortionate taxes, you're not going to get anywhere close to the amount of money that a theocratic vassal will have. Of course, a third method to get a theocratic vassal would be to find one already on the map. For example, here is the Pope, who is a theocratic leader. If you can find some way to vassalize them, that is another way to get a theocratic vassal. Once you already have a theocratic vassal, it's actually somewhat straightforward to be able to generate new ones off of them if you don't want to claim new land. One thing, for instance, is if I were to grant this theocratic vassal some more lands and do a little bit of waiting, you'll see that hopefully they'll grant, there we go, the land to a new theocratic baron. Because this vassal exceeded their domain limit, they decided to relinquish the barony of Mazara, this temple holding. If I were to take this bishop and grant them a county. They swap from being a baron to a count, and they become my theocratic vassal. So even though they were originally a baron to this prince bishop, I was able to move them over here and get a new theocratic vassal. But anyway, if you look around your realm and you find that there are some theocratic vassals who are barons, but you are not their direct liege, you can grant them counties, and then they will be upgraded into theocratic vassals for yourself. One thing to be careful of here is that theocratic vassals have a much more variable amount of taxes compared to feudal vassals and republic vassals. Although they pay out extremely high amounts if you are a religious icon or a paragon of virtue, if you are a sinner or merely dutiful, they may actually have lower tax rates than a different sort of vassal. So you do have to be a little careful that you don't have a player heir that has a lot of sinful traits or that has done a lot of things to reduce their piety. But as you can see at the high end of things, these are very much your best vassals. They're going to be giving you the most resources, they have the most clean succession, and overall they'll make your empire very powerful if you're able to get a lot of them.